So these three kind of breakdown moments got you clear on what you wanted.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are in breakdown now, but they have a hard time getting clear on what they want and where they want to go.
Yep.
How did you get clear? Like, okay, I know I want to do social media now, and I'm going to go all in on it for this year. I know I want to go and do this music, and so I'm going to go all in on the studio every single day. How did you get clear to even execute that routine on the vision?
I can answer that in a couple of ways. I'm a guy who feels like you should work on your strengths and you work on your weaknesses.
Yeah, this is one of your 15 rules in your book.
Yeah. So, in my music, my falsetto is probably one of my strengths, right? It's like one of the things that I feel set me apart. So I work on my falsetto and I utilize it, and that's something that I, will just continue to work on because I feel like that kind of sets me apart. And something that I was weak at was social media, right? So like that was a perfect opportunity to like be like, let me utilize this time to really kind of see if I can knock this out of the park.
Now, were you also thinking like, okay, TikTok is this new thing, let me start on TikTok and
100%.
Here's an opportunity? Or were you like, let me do, YouTube and Instagram and everywhere else where people are already at? Or were you like, here's an opportunity, I see some people starting to pop off, maybe I could start here? Was that the strategy?
So what I don't want to do on this show is lie. I want to be completely
Give it to me.
and utterly honest. I'm not going to give you the pop star answer.
Yeah,
like,
give it to me.
I'm going to give you the honest answer. I genuinely saw that there was an opening in the TikTok space. Genuinely. So this is how I saw it. It's because I saw my nieces and nephews on it. They were very young.
All day, right?
All day.
Obsessing.
I was like, it was an app called Musical.ly at the time.
Yes.
And I was like, what is this app? Why do you like this? This is not even like, why? Like you slow down and like people are dancing and then like doing like lip syncs. I'm like, this is not how social media works. You're supposed to show your life. So I was like, let me give it a try. My marketing director at the time was like, he showed me the app and then I saw my nieces and nephews on it. So I was like, okay, now this is two different situations. And then I did a live and then like I had a lot of people in my live. I was like, wow.
On TikTok.
On Musical.ly at the time.
On Musical.ly, yeah. And how many followers did you have at that time,
Maybe like 2 million or something like that.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So
you had an audience.
Yeah, I had an audience.
Yeah, 2 million is a lot.
Yeah. I mean, not for somebody that was,
Sure.
But it was decent.
It was a base. Yeah, it was a good base.
So, but the engagement was crazy. It was different. I was getting more engagement with my 2 million followers here, and I had like 4 million on Instagram at the time.
And you weren't getting the engagement.
And I wasn't getting that engagement. So I saw something. So I never talked about this before. This is the first time I'm talking about this, by the way. Because I always give like the pop star answers.
Sure.
It's like, oh yeah, I was trying out a new thing. But so I saw that the engagement was different. So this was like a new kind of app. So the pandemic hit. I was like, I've been meaning to like really dig my teeth in this app. This is the perfect opportunity. Let me try it out. So I was posting 1 time a day. Then I went from 2 times a day. And then like that went to 3. And then all of a sudden when I posted 6 times in a day, the numbers started to explode. My followers started to explode. And it got to the point where I was receiving over 1 billion views a month on my TikTok.
Holy cow.
So it was wild. It got to a crazy. I mean, obviously I don't have that kind of time anymore. But like when that focused energy hits, it's different, man. But like I go nuts with it. Like I know I have to be obsessive to be the best at anything. You have to do way more than anybody else is gonna do. So I knew I had to. Okay, Charlie D'Amelio is posting like 5-6 times a day. I know I have to post that.
Yeah.
She's uberly successful. I got to do it too. Addison Rae is doing it. I mean, there's the blueprint,
right? So I mean, but you had a lot going on still, even though it was a pandemic. You still, you got a business, you got music, you got things you got to do. How are you doing everything else you're doing and your routine and working out and doing 6 videos a day.
Prioritizing the videos. I prioritize the videos before anything else.
Really? You did those first?
Yeah. And a lot of people thought I was out of my mind. People don't remember this, but like people laughed at me for being on TikTok. It was a real thing. People don't remember that, but like I was an artist. I was supposed to be like this world-renowned singer, and I was on TikTok
With like 12-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, this is for 12-year-olds. What's he doing?
Exactly, literally.
So how did you quiet the critics in the music industry and other celebrity friends who were like, what are you doing, Jason? How did you?
I didn't want to quiet that. I didn't care because I knew in the back of my mind that those 15-year-olds in 5 years were going to be 20 years old.
Right.
So even if the elders didn't join the party, the 15-year-olds were going to be 20 in 5 years. So like it would make sense in 5 years. Thankfully, it all happened way faster than that. And the
made sense now.
Yeah, it worked out. But yeah, that was a huge gamble. You know, it could have went either way.
It could have. The interesting thing is, you know, because I remember watching, because I was kind of like trying TikTok a little bit then as well, trying to figure it out. I wish I would have went all in because I like just dabbled.
Yeah,
I would go all in for like a week and then just didn't go all in. But I remember thinking like, it's really smart what you're doing because I saw you get to like 10 million followers really quick and then 15 and 20 and you just kept showing up. I was just like,
sure.
It felt like you were everywhere.
Yeah.
And when you're doing 6 videos a day and it's getting featured and recommended, you are everywhere.
It was everywhere.
You're on everyone's phone around the world all the time. And I can only imagine how many people thought you were crazy. But now the interesting thing, everyone's trying to replicate what you've done, especially in the music industry. Everyone's saying, look what he was able to do with his music during the pandemic on TikTok and blow it up to the top of the charts. How do I get into this? So sometimes we do things where people might laugh at us, but later they're replicating us.
100%.
And that's what people have been trying to do with you.
Yeah. TikTok is now the gatekeeper of the music industry. It went from being like something that people laughed at in the music industry to being the gatekeeper. It's like
where people pop off now.
Yeah. The top 12 songs of last year, the top 13 songs of last year, 12 of them had a major social campaign.
Like a trend to them.
Trend, yes.
Really?
Yeah. Those numbers are staggering. So, I mean, but I don't even think this is not music specific. Social media now is for everyone. Like everybody is a brand now. It doesn't matter if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, if you are a fireman, if you're a beekeeper. Like these are all businesses and you personally are a brand. And until you can see yourself as a brand, you are totally selling yourself short. And I'm so sick and tired of people hearing people saying, it's not for me, I'm too old. Like, are you living under a rock? Like, do you not see that's happening in the world? It's all about social media. Every single brand out there is scrambling, trying to figure this thing out. And I love when brands come to me trying to act like they know what's going on. You don't know what's going on. Nobody does. Like this thing is brand new. We're all figuring it out right now.
Yeah.
But if anybody knows, it's the creators. It's not the brands.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, they're just hiring somebody that sounds like they know what they're talking about, but they don't.
Right.
Because they don't even have following themselves. Why are you listening to that person?
It's brilliant, man. It's really exciting. What was the 3 biggest things that came out of the growth of your social media, the 3 best things that have happened for you since rising to social media stardom?
The number one biggest thing is what I can produce from an ad. The money that comes from that is substantial. It's really, really life-changing. And I've been doing music my whole life. And
You mean an ad from like a sponsorship that someone's sponsoring you to do a promotion or?
Yeah, brand will pay you.
Brand deal.
Brand deal, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's basically like a commercial without being a commercial.
Right.
Because, I mean, look at it, right? If you are a huge brand, you're a blue chip brand, and you're looking for eyeballs are on socials, right? And it used to be where they would go and get a commercial, or they would go and like put it, put it on the radio or something. But now socials are the biggest thing in the world, right? And the viewership that I get on my page, I mean, you can't get that everywhere,
Can't get that on TV.
You can't, because the biggest shows in the world are only getting like 4 or 5 million views. I mean, like my videos are in the double digits all the time, so it's become like this crazy thing that I never expected was going to happen. I was just trying to honestly, I was trying to connect the dots with everything. And I was like, if people got to know me better, they'd probably
listen to your music more, you know.
But I never thought that my social business would be as big as my music business.
Really?
It's insane.
It's almost there now, or it's the same size?
Arguably bigger.
What?
Arguably bigger.
Holy cow. How else are you monetizing besides, I guess, brand deals? Are you selling your own stuff now? Are you building your own businesses on the back end that are more either silent or public? What else are you doing? Because I know you're a mastermind in business, and I think a lot of people think you're just an artist or just, an entertainer or musician. But I can see the moves you make and how you think brilliantly about your brand, the marketing, the messaging. Even when it seems silly or not thoughtful, I know it is. And so what are the businesses you're building or the other revenue streams you're generating beyond the brand deals?
So now when any company comes my way, if they are not, the biggest companies in the world, I don't want to mention any brands now,
right,
but if they're not the biggest brands in the world, they have to come with some sort of equity conversation.
I like that.
Now, so it's like they can't humbly speaking,
they can't afford one post.
Exactly.
So they got to give you something bigger.
Yeah. So if I believe in a brand, like I can get ownership in so many different brands, like this, and they come every day. It's like a new thing, and you never seen a deal that you didn't like, right? So
they all look amazing.
They all look amazing, but you got to go for the ones that you personally love.
Yeah.
But that's a huge win from socials as well, obviously. But the best thing that I like, man, honestly, and I'm not giving you a pop star answer like I've talked about before, but I love the fact that people got a real insight to my life. Like, people will ask me how my dog is. People ask me how my son is. I think that's just like a beautiful thing. Like, I'd never met a person in my life, and they'll come and ask me how like these personal things about me. And I just think that's really cool.
That's beautiful,
I
man.
feel like people have like a real inside now.
That's beautiful, man. What is the thing that people don't know about you that you wish they knew? Because they see a certain side of you. Yes, they see a more personal, behind the scenes side, but what is the thing that most people still don't know about you that you're either proud of, that you want them to know?
I don't think people realize the business side as of yet. And I'm okay with that. I think it's a little soon for people to know exactly how deep it's going. But I'm just in a totally different headspace when I'm in that business, that business guru mode. It's really cool, man. But I just really enjoy building things from nothing. I think that's my passion. And so like writing a song is like building something from scratch. Real estate, I love, building things from the ground up. Businesses is the same way. I love building the businesses from the ground up. And that's kind of been like my last 5 years, is just like starting something from scratch and then just watching it grow.
Something you've done that has always impressed me and inspired me from the beginning of hearing, I think, your first song that kind of took off. What was that, 2008, 2010? What was that? 2009, yeah, around that time. When I noticed it, and I'm assuming a lot of people noticed it, but that's something I noticed right away, was you singing your name.
Uh-huh.
And I recognize a lot of songs, but I never know the face of the singer or the name. I'm like, yeah, that's a catchy song, but I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
I'm not in the music world that much to understand it. I'm like, oh yeah, I know that song. Who is that person? But I would never know their name or their face. Where did you get that from? That kind of like, because a lot of people are doing that now. And I feel like you were one of the first to do that. Where did that come from? Why has that been powerful for you in personal brand? Because I really feel like it's branded you personally in a beautiful way before personal branding was a thing. So where did that come from?
It was my first song. I was about to release What You Say, and the song was done. It was originally a song for Sean Kingston. We had written it for Sean Kingston. Actually, Sean co-wrote on it as well. And the label didn't want it. His label didn't want the song. So we were like, let's make it my first single. And had completed the song. It was all done. And I was just like, this could be my one chance, like, for the world to hear me. Like, if this song is going to be heard by all these people, at least, like, if I can get like a couple of million people to like hear my name, like I'll still be building. I'll get myself to the next level, even if this song doesn't become a hit, you know? And that's where the idea came from. So I played around with like different ways to do it, and what you hear now is the one that stuck. And boy, I didn't think that it was gonna stick like that.
It's stuck, man. It is stuck big. It's almost like I'm not referring this in this way, but in a relatable way. It's almost like when you hear a commercial jingle over and over again. Just the way you say your name is a context similar to like 100%. Memorizing it and you wanting to sing it that way. You know, 100%. The audience wanting to sing it that way, which is brilliant.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
So you tried it in a bunch of different ways?
Oh yeah. I
like, what was it like? You're trying to sing it deep. You're trying to like just say the name
James
and not.
Jay. Nah, Jay. Jason Derulo. Jason Derulo. That's it. Something like that.
Wow, man.
But I was in the booth.
Now, when you did it on the song, was the label like, okay, that's cool? Or they were like, nah, we don't want your name in it. Like it messes with the song.
Oh, nah, there was no mention of that. Like, nah. I did my whole first album with one guy.
Okay.
J.R. Rodham, who was also the CEO of the record label that I was on. So we did the whole thing together. So, I mean, there was no egos or anything.
Now, did people comment on that during that time where they're like, oh, that's really cool, you should keep doing that? Or was that more your vision, I want to keep saying my name for people to remember it?
Well, after the first song came out, it was such a thing that I was like, dang, I should probably do it in my next joint.
Wow.
So I did it again in my next song, which was In My Head. And then when Riding Solo came about, I was like, I'm going to chill. I'm not going to do it on this song.
And how to do?
Yeah, it was great.
Still did great.
Yeah.
But I feel like people, know you from that as well. It's like another signature move of yours.
100%.
Like a signature dance move. It's like a signature audio move or something.
Yeah. I mean, I called the books, Sing Your Name Out Loud. But the reason I called it that is of course there's correlation to that, but it's from speaking things into existence and using the power of the tongue, just like speaking things out loud, but I put it together with the singing.
I think it's beautiful, man.
I think
it's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Now I'm also curious because you are so gifted as a singer, like you mentioned. I think you were classically trained, or you did opera training. You did some different things. I've seen a lot of your singing on different shows of you doing that stuff. But you did more on the auto-tune thing in the first song. Why didn't you lead with your voice without that in the first song? Was there a reason?
It's an artistic choice.
Yeah.
The sample, the Imogen Heap sample, was a vocoder. So like it matched so well with the vocoder, So, I mean, that was the idea behind it, but it just seemed like it was a crush. I mean, like it was a crutch.
Like people thought, oh, he can't sing or whatever.
And then that was just around the time of like death of auto-tune and all kind of crazy. It's like, I was like on the tail end of that whole, like right at the beginning of that whole thing. So it was just like bad timing.
Well, I mean, the song did great. Yeah, I
It
mean,
did great.
It worked.
Because nobody thinks of, when you think of Daft Punk, you don't think like one more time. You don't think like, oh, like he probably can't sing. You know, you're thinking like, oh, that's an artistic choice. But I think it was just the time period, you know, with the whole death of auto-tune. It was just like bad time.
Wow. Wow. It still did well though.
It did amazing. When I treat my body as if it's the tool in my mind is the boss, everything else just kind of falls into place a little bit.
Wow.
And then I'm able to stick to the regimen.
Yeah.
Because regimen is really important.
What is the routine that you feel like has helped you the most when you have a non-negotiable